Knoxville, I'm Mayor Indya Kincannon, and this is Kickin It with Kincannon. Every month, we sit down with community leaders, city staff, and Knoxville neighbors to talk about what's happening in Knoxville, the progress, the challenges, and the people who make it all work. So let's get to it. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Kicking It with Kincannon. Today, we're going to have a little bit of a Valentine's theme. Love is in the air. It's Valentine's Day season, and I want to take this occasion to have a very special guest on, my Valentine for the last 30-plus years, the one and only Ben Barton, my husband of 30 years, who I've been dating since I was 19 years old. He is my rock best friend and my Valentine, so I thought I would introduce him to podcast listeners. He's a little shy, but a great storyteller, and just thought it would be fun to share a little bit about our story and our connection and how we also fell in love with Knoxville and ended up staying here, even though neither of us are originally from Knoxville.
So thank you, Madam Mayor, for having me. And I thought we were here to talk about parking regulations. Is that not what we're doing? I've got a lot of thoughts.
Yes, I've heard some of your thoughts, and I'll keep those into account along with 200,000 other people that we serve. So, it's you're definitely someone who loves your car and your parking, just like so many other Knoxvillians. And but anyhow, in addition to being married to me, Ben is, how many years have you been at the University of Tennessee?
Started at the University of Tennessee College of Law, now Winston College of Law, in 2001.
2001.
So I'm in my 25th year. Yeah, it's crazy.
25th year teaching students, raising up the next generation of law students. And you are the reason we came to Knoxville. I am from Virginia. You're from New York City. And we moved here without knowing a soul. And now you're in your 25th year at the University of Tennessee, and I ended up becoming mayor. It's not anything we could have predicted or planned for.
It's just the classic trailing spouse story.
That's right.
Trailing spouse becomes mayor.
That's right. It does. It does sometimes end up in unexpected places. So, why don't you tell our listeners how we met?
So we went to college together, and as Indya said, she was 19 and I was 20. We knew each other kind of tangentially. I was an elder man. I was 2 years older. So I was a junior when she was a freshman, and when we started dating, I was a senior and she was a sophomore.
Yeah. And I was your rebound relationship. And
vice versa, too. Yeah.
That's true.
It was, we went to a small Quaker school outside Philadelphia called Haverford College, and so everybody, I knew who she was. Everybody knows who each other's are, and we were kind of sort of friends. But yeah, fall of my senior year and fall of her sophomore year, she was living in the same room I had lived in the year before.
Yep.
Barclays, so it was a ground floor, so I knocked on the window and I explained carefully how the bed was in the wrong place. She'd moved the furniture and it was no good.
Yep, I definitely remember that. I was like, oh, that's audacious and sort of charming.
Yeah. And then she came and saw my band play. Would you like to tell that part of the story?
Yeah, that is something that I think you told when we got at our wedding day. You mentioned this story because it's uncharacteristic of how I responded to. You were the big man on campus, guitarist in the Sea of Fuzz, and playing like so many college bands in the grimy basement of a dorm, and really loud music and. This, maybe you could tell the story better than me, but like you get really hot and sweaty.
Oh, it's just hot and dangerous out there.
Hot
in the
and
band.
dangerous.
You know how it is.
And hot and sweaty. And in the middle of one of your big songs,
I just had to take my shirt off. And the ladies don't mind that at all.
Ladies love that. And you took it off. Not only did you take it off, you sort of twirled it around and then threw it out into the audience. And
then after the set, who comes trotting back with my sweaty T-shirt? But beloved Indya Kincannon.
That's right. So that's how you must have known.
No, I had no idea. She has a different reaction to my sweaty T-shirts now that we're married. So I had no idea what a big deal it was for her to actually pick that up and touch it.
That's right. But we've been together ever since that day.
Yeah. One of the things that I made some notes for the podcast.
Okay.
I see you didn't. That's interesting.
I got staff to help me with the notes, and I do know you.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, so your staff just going to talk about Valentine's Day? That's good. I like that. One of the things that I wrote down is, so there's a concept of two different kinds of marriages. One kind's the capstone, and the other kind's the cornerstone.
Yep.
So the capstone marriage, and my brother and sister-in-law, our beloved brother and sister-in-law, are like this. This is where you've had significant professional achievement, and then one of the last things you do is you find your partner and you get married. The opposite is the cornerstone, where it's like it's the first thing you do. The first thing you do is you find the person you want to build the life together.
Yep.
And I'm not here to say that one's better than the other, but obviously cornerstone way better.
It's certainly been a good fit for us.
And that's what we had for sure.
Yeah.
That's what we had for sure. One of the things that's so great about having been together since 1990 is like we grew up together. You know what I mean? Like I knew you knew me.
We were kids, for sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about like brain development, my prefrontal cortex was like a peanut. It was so small when we first started dating. So it's just amazing to have all of that shared experience and then the time to have built a life together. It's such a beautiful thing.
Yep. Yep, definitely. So we're very, very lucky to have each other and all these years. And all that time together also helps us get through, stressful times too, because being married is a little stressful for me.
Indeed.
Which I think one of the things that you do for me right now during this season of our life is help me de-stress and vent and sort of unload a little bit when I get home. And because at work, I got to keep it professional. And so that's been really helpful. And hopefully I do the same for you when you need that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of the things that they have down here for us to chat about is like this partnership and being in a couple together, and that's a key one, is to look out for each other and to be a stress release. Your dad, who we both loved. I mean, obviously you loved him; he was your dad, but I just loved him to pieces. He's really one of my favorite human beings I've ever known. He sadly passed.
2012.
2012.
Yep.
Almost without fail. Every time we would leave him, he would say, "Take care of each other."
Yeah.
That was the last thing I was choking up.
Yeah.
The last thing that he would say to us. And that was what he was like as a person. And it's such fantastic advice for our relationship, is to take care of each other. And that's what we've been trying to do for each other.
Yep, absolutely. So, it's nice to have that long foundation. Like, I don't have that many people in Knoxville who knew my dad because, he's been gone a little while. So, anyhow.
I've got some other foundational
Yes,
stories.
foundational
you want to hear some
stories?
other foundational
Okay.
stories?
Let's hear it,
All right,
yeah.
so one that was super funny is we first got married, and we got married before my third year of law school in Ann Arbor, and we moved in together, and I had just been living in total dumps in Ann Arbor. And this is not marriage advice or Valentine's Day advice, but if you go to grad school or to undergrad and you're paying for it yourself, live in a dump. Like, live in the cheapest possible place you
It
can.
did help with your debt.
For sure.
But, not really.
But when we got married, we actually got in a really nice apartment. It was a little, shotgun apartment in an old house in Ann Arbor, and it was quite lovely.
Yeah, 311 East Ann Street, I remember.
One of the things that was a little odd about it, though, was that the bathroom was off of the kitchen. That was where the main bathroom was. And I'm a bigger fan of the bathroom than you are. Just just note that. And second, I was so thrilled to be married. I was like, this is so fantastic. And my best friend lives with me. She's here all the time. So I would get up in the morning, I would get the paper, and we got the Detroit Free Press, and I think we might have gotten the Times, too. Anyway, we got the paper, and then I would bring the paper in with me to the toilet, which was right there by the kitchen. And then Indya would come in to make breakfast. And I'd leave the door open. I'd be like, "Did you read about this? Did you hear about this?" Like yelling at her.
Can you close the door, please?
And it's like, "I do not want to hear from you now." And I was like, "What do you mean? I'm like reading the paper. I got all the good news for you."
Yeah. We had some adjustments to living together that I'm sure a lot of people encounter. And some of those things you just learn to live with. I think.
For sure. Dude, that's another secret to a long-lasting relationship right there. But I did learn. I hardly ever yell at you from the toilet anymore.
Yeah. Thank you.
I got another good one. You ready?
Yeah, great.
All right. So we moved here, and for the first 2 years that we moved here, when we moved here, you want to tell the story of shopping for the house or no?
Oh yeah. Well, we again didn't know anybody. You had been a visiting professor in Arizona State, and got the offer to be a tenure track professor here in Knoxville. So we flew here from Phoenix and one weekend, and we saw like 25 houses. This was in like 2000.
You're burying the lead. Indya was 7 months pregnant.
Yeah, 8 months.
I think
it was like
pregnant.
8 months
you were
pregnant.
gigantic, and we just drove all over town, went up and down stairs, we basically looked at every historic house that was on the market, period. And so you can imagine we went all over the neighborhoods, east, south,
The housing
north,
market was
west.
so much better for buyers at the time. It was affordable and lots of availability.
I know. I feel really bad for my new colleagues. My new colleagues are like, how'd you find such a great house in such a great neighborhood? And I'm like, timing. Yeah, it really was. But yeah, we ended up buying the first house we looked at. Yeah.
And we still live there. So we're very fortunate. We've bought exactly one house, and we're renters all up until that time. And
we'd also moved every year. I basically moved every year since I turned 18 until I guess we were 28 or 30 when we moved here. So
yeah, we've put down roots, though.
Yeah.
We've both lived in Knoxville longer than we've lived anywhere else.
Yeah, in the house. Yeah. So we had our first daughter was born in Phoenix before we moved. And our second daughter, Georgia, was born here. Yeah. And so for the first 2 years that we lived here, Indya decided to stay home and take care of the girls, which was fantastic for them and super helpful. At the time when Georgia was ready to go into preschool, Indya was like, I think I'm ready to go back to work. And I was like, fantastic. I'm super supportive, whatever it is that you want to do. And she was like, I think what I'm going to do is run for school board. And I was like, can you do what? And she was like, I'm going to run for school board. There's an open seat where we sit, and our girls are going to go to public school. And so I think it's really important. And, I went to policy school, not a policy degree. And so rather than sort of working behind the scenes, I think it might be fun to try and run for office. Now, she won't say this, but it was totally insane, completely insane. We had just moved here 2 years ago. And I did, in fact, point that out. I was like, you are aware that we just moved here. And she was like, yeah, I know that, but I'll go out and I'll knock on some doors, and this will be a good experience. And, win or lose, it's like just something.
What have we got to lose?
Totally. Fantastic. And so she did several things that were unusual and super awesome. The first thing was, and this is before the Obama time, and this is before it became common. So she went down to the election commission, and she was like, hey, you can give me a list of all the registered voters, right? And they were like, yes. She's like, but you have more. There's more publicly available data, right? And they were like, yeah, there's more. And she's like, you actually have a list of who votes, right? And when they vote. And they were like, yeah, we have that. And she was like, could you get me that data? Like, if I brought you down? And they were like, yeah, if you bring down a storage disk, we'll give you that data. So she got all of the registered voters in her district and how often they had voted.
If they ever voted in local elections, for example.
And then she convinced a local computer scientist guy at UT to create an algorithm that ranked them from most likely to vote to least likely to vote.
Right.
And then she just went out and knocked on every door.
Yep.
And then it was a primary, and it was like I guess they call it a jungle primary, right? Where it's like there were like how many people? 7 people?
I think 7 maybe, yeah.
Tons of people running, and only the top 2 go on.
And I lost. I came in second.
Lost is such an ugly word.
Yeah.
We would never
I came
say
in
lost.
second by 9 votes.
Yeah, totally.
Not that I was counting, but that was still a win.
Totally, because you went on to second, and then you took that same list and you went back and knocked on all those doors again.
Yeah.
And I worked the polls at both of those elections, and at the second election, and I won't say who you were running against, but the person that she was running against was like, she's brand new here, she's carpetbagger, she doesn't know anybody. And that was the worker at the poll next to me, and I was like, vote for Indya. Anyhow, more than half of the people, when they walked in, the person would say, she's not from here, don't vote for her. And they would turn and look at them and say, she seemed nice when I met her. And then just walked in and voted for her.
Yeah.
And it was such an amazing experience. And it's like goofy to say, but so proud of you, just to put in the work and to know what the work looks like. You know what I mean? And that was the same thing when you ran for mayor, like just knock on every door all the time. Just so good.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for being my biggest supporter and a great storyteller all these years. You can see, I'm sure the listening audience will agree, like that you can tell that we really love each other and we've been there for each other, low these 35 years and through thick and thin and new adventures, unexpected adventures, trials and tribulations. We're just very, very lucky. You remember the stories about things way better than I do. And so that's really nice too. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say one of the things that our listeners may or may not know is just what a true blue extrovert you are. So like the technical definition of extrovert is like you gain power from talking to other people. And
energy.
Yeah. Power too. Power though. You get stronger.
No, I'm just energized by talking to other people and listening to their stories. And that's not true of other people. Yeah.
Dude, when people come and talk to you, like, I'm thinking about running for this, I'm thinking about running for that, you can tell that they're uncomfortable about knocking on doors or going to actually talk to people. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, that's the job. That's the actual job. And anytime you were down in any of the races, including your re-election race, I was like, just get in the car and go knock on some doors. Like, just go out and talk to people. That'll make you feel better. And that was like your secret superpower. Yeah,
I did always enjoy doing that. So, well, aside from, let's get back into Valentine's themes. I would say, who do you think is more romantic, you or me?
Me.
Yeah,
that's an easy one.
Yeah, that is easy.
Although we're not big Valentine's Day people.
No, that's too hard to get a restaurant reservation sometimes. But you do romantic gestures from very early on. One that I always remember, was it my birthday or Valentine's Day in college?
Oh, it was your birthday.
Walked me up through like a science building on campus, and we were just like, oh, I just want to show you something. And I said, okay, and we just kept walking me upstairs all the way up to the top, and then we climbed out a window out to like a little ledge, and then like up a ladder, and on the roof there was our friend Jeff dressed in a tuxedo like a maitre d' with like a whole meal planned out with the cooler, the wine, the tacos, I think.
Yeah,
tacos,
that was
homemade
one of my
tacos,
key dishes. Yeah.
But with like tablecloth, it was like shabby chic. It was like super fancy, but also very Ben Barton. And
and also, I told you that I was taking you out to a fancy dinner, and I blindfolded you so you couldn't see where we were. So I went out for a drive and took a spin through the neighborhood, and then brought you right back to campus. Then you were like, "Why are we going up so many stairs?"
I forgot the blindfold.
And then we took the blindfold off, and then the way you put it is exactly right. But we basically broke onto the roof. Like, we weren't supposed to be having a picnic on the roof.
I think the statute of limitations has expired on that. So, but yeah, I think of the two of us, you're the more romantic. And also, you're amazing at planning trips and stuff. We both love traveling and adventures, and you're really good at planning them and making them fun and exciting. So thank you for adding all the doses of adventure and fun to our lives.
I have another thing that the listeners might want to know about the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee, and this goes along with the elections. But Indya Kincannon presents as just like a super friendly, very intelligent, lovely person, but she's extraordinarily competitive. She's probably the most competitive person that I've ever known. And just to give you an example of this, so Indya was the captain of her tennis team in college, which was actually a significant achievement because the captain is usually the best player, and you are not the best player.
True.
Excellent. And so the way they do it is they put the team in ranks. Seeds, and the top player plays the top player, and the second player is the second player, the third player, the third player. And so you eventually came to be like 2 or 3?
Something like that, maybe 3.
So it was amazing because you are a fantastic tennis player, but not quite as good as many of your opponents. And so Indya thought her way around how to actually win against people who were better.
Psychological torment.
Psychological torment. And I have played tennis against her, but not competitively, but I have done this in ping pong. And so her strategy in ping pong is the exact same thing. So in tennis, she would just hit the ball back to the person continuously until they made a mistake. And then they would be so frustrated that they're like, I can't believe I can't get past this woman. I'm so much better than her. She just keeps hitting it back to me. She's not trying to hit winners. They get so mad that then they make an even closer mistake and more mistakes. And I would go and watch her play, and you could watch the opponent just melt down as Indya just calmly, just getting it back to them as good as they wanted. And then they're trying even harder, and they're slamming, and so they're knocking it out of bounds and into the net. And then an especially cruel one, a really wicked strategy that she had was if the person would slam it, and Indya would knock it back up in a lob shot. So she would hit it all the way up in the air.
Moonball.
Yeah. And then it would bounce, and the person would be so mad they'd slam it again. And then Indy would hit it all the way back up in the air. And then she'd just do this continuously until the person hit into the net or out of bounds. And it was like it was a fantastic strategy, and it's what winning looks like.
For Division III, you know.
I know for sure.
But
it is what it is. Like, it was such a hilarious strategy, and it was so psychologically cruel, just so mean to watch these poor other women.
A W is a W.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Totally. They just had no chance against that.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic job by you.
I think that's why when someone asks me who some of my inspirations are, I always mention Pat Summitt because, you know, she had a lot of W's, but also had that, you know, she taught her players to be so mentally strong.
Oh, totally. Iron will.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Iron will. So anyhow, so what would you say is one of our best date nights in Knoxville? Or, you know, not necessarily for Valentine's Day, but when we do something that we want to just have our own date night. I mean, I know it includes a movie.
Yeah,
we always
totally
go to the movies. We have some favorite restaurants, but one of the gifts that your law school friends gave us for our wedding gift was like a huge number of prepaid tickets to the movies up in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
And we used them all. We would go sometimes 2 movies at a time.
Yeah.
And then that continues. We don't have time for 2 movies at a time, but I love going to the movies.
The classic Ben and Indya date night is always a movie.
Dinner and a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and basically, if you go to the movies enough, we've seen some really good ones, we've seen some pretty bad ones, and but still.
Yeah, it's still always fun to go. So, how you know, on a more serious side, or maybe not serious, what's it like to be married to the mayor and the impact on our family of me being in this sort of public role? I know it's not always easy, but there's some perks.
There are some perks for sure. I'll tell 2 non-perk stories.
Okay.
One that's super. So it's funny because I don't kid myself at all that like I'm famous, but I am somewhat known around town, and it's funny to be somewhat known because that hasn't been the case in the past, and then second to be somewhat known for something that's not really your own thing. Like I'm known for being married to you. So an example of this is, and I just have to be careful with myself because I am a representative of the mayor and I have to remember that. So I won't name the grocery establishment, but I'm at this grocery establishment. And it drives me crazy at this place because they're not good at stocking the shelves. And so like every third time you go, something's not there, but it's never the same thing. And I do the grocery shopping with the family. So I've got like a list, and of the 10 things, every time I go to this place, one of the things not available. So this time I kind of had enough. And I get out there, and I'm at the checkout person. And by the way, this was a manager. I would never do this just a regular checkout person. But the manager was like, "Did you find everything today?" And I was like, "No, sir, I did not." And he was like, "What didn't you find?" And I was like, "You know, I didn't find this, that, and the other." And he's like, "Do you want me to call in the back?" I was like, "No, I don't want you to call in the back. It's not in the back. If it was in the back, it'd be in the front. Like, you don't have it." And the guy's like, "Okay, fine, sir." So we're at this like cool standoff between me and the manager of the store. And right at this point, the person next to me taps my shoulder and is like, "Aren't you married to Indya Kincannon?" And I'm like, "No, that's another guy. I'm a lunatic, not married to the mayor."
I think I had to go do some damage control. No. Yeah, people do know. I remember when someone saw you shopping and they're like, commented on social media, like, "I saw the mayor's husband and he's getting his good vegetables." And, you know, I was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a small town and people know your face, and you're a creature of habit. You shop at some of the same places and people just recognize that. But thank you for doing all the grocery shopping.
Yeah, I love it. That's one that you have questions for a good partnership.
Okay.
One thing to do for a good partnership, I think, and a marriage more than partnership, is you want to divvy the responsibilities, and you want to try and be equal and even as much as you can. Mm-hmm. But it's also really important to choose the things that you're good at and you like and try and divvy it in that way. So like I do the cooking and I do the grocery shopping, and then I kind of sort of help with the laundry. Kind of, sort of. You got to give me kind of, sort of.
Yep. Okay. We're on camera.
But anyway,
so
those are projects that I really like, and so it's like that's a good divvy of it.
Yeah.
And by contrast, humorous story. We first moved here. I grew up in New York City, and then after that, I rented a whole bunch of places. I never had a yard. And Indya grew up out in the country in Virginia, and so she had a big, beautiful yard, and she always liked having a yard. She, like, when she was growing up, she mowed the lawn. And did you garden a little bit?
Little gardening, but a lot of mowing.
Yeah, totally. So we buy this new house right here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Indya's like, you're going to love it. We've got a yard. You're finally going to do yard work. You're going to really enjoy it. And it is, in fact, a stereotypically male thing to enjoy doing yard work. So we moved here in July. So I go out to the garage. I get out the mower, mow the lawn, middle of the day in July. And I go back in. They got the hedge clipper, clip the hedge in the middle of the day in July, grab up all of the hedge pieces, put it out in the street. Come back in drenched in sweat, and Indya's like, how'd it go? How'd you like it? And I was like, well, we've got 2 options. Oh, no, really, we've got 3 options for this. Option number 1 is you do this. Option number 2 is we pay somebody to do it. Option number 3 is we pave it all. I'm never doing that again. Never.
And you never have.
I can't describe how much I despised it. I was like, this is horrible. This is someone's hobby is going out. I just could not understand it at all.
Well, that's where we leaned in. I actually enjoy doing yard work.
Perfect. So that was like, that's an example of the divvy where people like, if somebody else likes it.
And you never criticized my yard work either.
No, totally.
And I try to always compliment and appreciate your cooking, which is amazing. And also very quick, and I do the cleanup, so whatever messes are made, I'm really good at the cleaning up and reorganizing of things. So
I have another good embarrassing first gentleman story.
Okay.
All right, so I swim at the UT pool, which is fantastic. I love it. And frequently I'll go to the UT pool, and then I go have a drink with my colleague afterwards. That's like a semi-weekly event with Glenn. So I get in my car, I go to the UT pool, and it's move-in day, which I've forgotten. And so on move-in day at UT, they've got like the University of Police out, and they're stopping people, and they're directing everybody. And so I get up to the front to the moving day guy, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to go swim. I'm a professor. He's like, fine, waste me up. So I go in, I swim my laps, I come back out, and this part's a little bit embarrassing, but I'm running late to go visit my colleague. And so I'm like, I just run out in my bathing suit into the car. And so I can get to the sunspot and get out and be on time for him, right? So I'm like drenched and still in my bathing suit. I get in the car, I drive to the little gate, and the guy's like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. You're gonna have to head back through campus, through all of the people unloading their stuff. This is now a one-way street. And I'm like, first of all, dude, it's like 5 p.m, nobody's here, like no students are arriving. I can see, like I'm looking at the sunspot. All you have to do is let me go through here. And he's like, sir, I'm super sorry. It's been turned into a one-way street. There's just nothing I could do for you. And I'm like, really? And by the way, it's a huge street. It's marked as a 2-way street. It would not be a problem. And he's like, no, really, I'm going to need you to turn around. So I'm mad.
Yeah.
I didn't yell. I was super polite. But I did I had a manual at this time, so I jammed it into first gear and kind of peeled out a little bit. So I like squealed my tires, do the U-turn. And then I'm kind of weaving through the people moving in because I'm in a rush and I don't want to be late. And as I'm weaving through, another officer jumps out in front of me and gives me the big handhold. And then I'm rolling down my window, and as he's walking up to the thing, I can hear the squawk box. And he's like, did you stop that red car? And he's like, yes, I got him. And then he's like, that guy's just driving all over. And he's like, yeah, he was going fast. And then he's like, that's the mayor's husband. I was like, oh no! Like I can't even drive around half naked in my car like a lunatic and have people know who I am. Really got to be careful. Got to be careful.
You got to be careful. You are the first gentleman, the first dude,
and I should carry myself accordingly.
That's right. Well, thanks for your forbearance with the upsides and downsides of being married to the mayor. And
but just a couple of upsides. So first. It's just fantastic to see you in your element. Like, I've known you since you were 19, and it's just amazing to see you, like, as the mayor. So doing such a fantastic job. Like, I'm so proud of you. The girls are so proud of you. And then as a girl dad, like, you're basically their entire lives, you've been an elected official. And now at this part of their life, you're the mayor. And such a model for them of female empowerment and hard work and all of that stuff. Is just love that.
Wow. Well, thank you. That's really nice. And right back at you. They have a great dad, and you've been a wonderful life partner, and hopefully more to come for many, many years, including when I'm not mayor, which is important too. Like you've known me for this is a 8-year season.
Oh yeah, wait till you see how I drive then. It's really going to be bad.
All right. Well, we got to wind things down. As you can see, my husband is a wonderful person, great supporter, is a really good storyteller, and a seasoned podcaster himself. So he knows how this medium works. And it's so nice to have you up in my office.
Yeah, it's nice to be
been
here.
a minute since you've been up here. So thank you for being my Valentine today and forever. Appreciate you.
sweetheart.
Love you very much. Thank you all for tuning in. Happy Valentine's Day. Thanks for kicking it with me today. If you like this episode, share it with a friend and be sure to follow Kickin It with Kincannon wherever you listen to podcasts. For more updates, visit knoxvilletn.gov or follow us on social. Until next time, take care, Knoxville.